This month I have 2 probability problems going out to an excellent team from Hawaii. Now I know a lot of students can get a little scared with probability problems. And the 2 problems I have this month, they were in the 20s on the state test. Extra scary. But here's the thing about probability problems. Sometimes they're a lot easier than they look. So step 1, no fear. Step 2, read the problem carefully, dive right in. You might find out the water's pretty warm, just like it is in Hawaii. Now let's get to work. 2 points are randomly placed on a number line from -1 to +1. We have to find the probability that the origin is between the 2 points that we choose. So let's draw that number line. Number line goes from -1 to +1. And we want the probability that the origin is between the 2 points that we're going to choose on this line. Origin, that's 0 right there. So in order for the origin to be between our 2 points, well, one of them has to be to the left of 0, one of them has to be to the right of 0. So one has to be negative, the other has to be positive. Now we're not going to worry about choosing 0, because 0 is just 1 point out of the infinitely many points between -1 and +1. So the probability we'll ever choose 0 is 0. Now there are 2 ways we can end up with that 0 between the 2 points that we choose. We could choose a negative number first and then a positive number, or we could choose a positive number and then a negative number. Let's take care of the first case. First case, we choose a negative number first. Probability of that happening is exactly half, because exactly half of this number line is negative. And then for our second number, the probability we'll choose a positive number. Well, half the number line is positive. So the probability we'll choose a positive number second is also a half. Well, now let's take a look at the other case. We choose the positive number first. Well, we know that that happens with probability 1/2, because half the number line is positive. And then we choose the negative number second. That happens with probability 1/2, because half the number line is negative. So those are our 2 cases. We find the probability in each case, then add them up. 1/2 times 1/2, that's 1/4. 1/2 times 1/2, that's still 1/4. 1/4 plus 1/4, our probability is 1/2. Now I gotta tell you, whenever I see 1/2 as the answer to a probability problem, I stop for a moment and I think, maybe there's a faster way to solve this problem. Maybe there's a nice slick way to see that the probability is a half. So we look back at our number line and we realize no matter what we do in that first step, if we pick a negative or we pick a positive, in our second step, half the time, that second number is going to be on the other side of the origin, because half the number line's on the left, half the number line's on the right. So no matter what we pick first, half the time, the next number's going to be on the other side. That's a much nicer solution than all this. And we're ready for the second problem. All right, Eliza creates a custom 6-sided die by randomly choosing 6 distinct integers from 1 to 7. And then she's going to paint those on the side of a blank cube. Then Philip's going to roll this die. She tells Philip that the faces of her die have a sum of 24. Philip's going to roll that die, and we want the probability that Philip's roll shows a prime number up on top. All right, where should we start? Well, we know she's going to make her die using numbers from 1 to 7. There are 7 numbers there. Only 6 sides of the cube, so we have to get rid of one of these numbers. Now, if we don't see right away which number she's going to get rid of, we look back at the problem for information we haven't used yet. We haven't used this sum of 24. The 6 numbers that are on this die, they add up to 24. So we have to figure out which 6 of these add up to 24. Well, first, we'll figure out what all 7 of them add up to. These 4 here add up to 10. These 3 out there add up to 18. Put that together, you got 28. We only need 24, so let's get rid of the 4. That'll get us down to 24. So the die that Philip is going to roll has a 1, a 2, a 3, a 5, a 6, a 7. The prime numbers are 2, 3, 5, and 7. 4 prime numbers out of 6 total. So when he rolls that die, the probability he's going to get a prime is 4/6, which you know is 2/3. Don't be afraid of probability problems.